Hello, my friends. Again, this is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan in a new episode on the PSAM TV International, which is the TV YouTube TV station that we have where we use English language. Last episode, I talked about the terrible terrorist attack that occurred in Sri Lanka on Sunday. Today is 24th of April, 2019, and it is a Wednesday. And I talked a lot about this issue, and I said we condemn with all our heart, with all our strength, this horrendous, savage attack on innocent people worshipping in the churches. But as I always said in other occasions, because I had another episode in Arabic after the attack on the Christchurch mosque in New Zealand, that we as an Ilahanic movement against any kind of violence and who condemn any kind of terrorist action perpetrated against innocent people, whether it comes from single person, organization, or even states. Now I want to talk a little bit more about our method. In the last couple of episodes, I went through the Ilahanic theory, or PSMA theory, and I talked about the 5 core values that we believe in: humanism, morality, purity, unity, and truth. And then I talked about our position regarding spirituality, and then I talked about the concept of dualism. And the 5 core values, plus these 2 issues, our position regarding spirituality and the dualism, are the components of the PSMA theory. And I'm currently writing some books about it in more details for the members of the PSMA network. We need to talk also about our methods, because I get questions about that. And our method is 3-legged. It is based on 3 legs, or 3 pillars, 3 legs. We call them like that: human action, human interaction, and human knowledge. And that is what it does distinguish our methods, because it is not really typical to work with these 3 issues at the same time: human action, human interaction, and human knowledge. What do we mean by human action? Is involving ourselves in the problems of the world, and try to impact them by doing good things, good deeds, in the form of smaller projects that are more effective and can touch the lives of the people. The second is the human interaction, which is handling the relationships issue and our contacts with each other, and the kind of relationship we're trying to build between the members. And then third is the human knowledge, and this aspect is related to kind of promoting and advancing our knowledge as individuals in the PSMA theory itself, and even beyond that, for those people who want to become leaders of the network. And I will go through these elements of our methodology through 3 episodes, 12, 13, and 14, in this order. So this episode, which is number 12, will talk about the human action. When I started the project in 2013, and I put this kind of thinking about what are the methods that we need and that we can utilize. I was aware, and we are aware, that there are already huge organizations that do great work in trying to help people in the world, and like different organizations, the UN, institutions, and even individuals like Bill Gates, who has billions of dollars uh, that he used to work with against poverty in Africa, and trying to help people having a better future. Now, we are aware that we really cannot. This is not our arena, and this is not the kind of work that we wish to do. What we are focusing on are smaller projects that can touch people's lives, uh, and these projects are done through individual efforts of members of the PSMA network, and we try to support them as much as we can. And hopefully, as our network expands and as we are getting more people into the network, and the more people become believers in this social movement, the PSMA social movement, then we'll get more resources and be able to do more good in the world than the things that we could do up to now. But I just give you one example of some these kind of projects that we try to implement in our lives as Elahins. One of our early members who joined the network, she had a small project that she took full responsibility herself. She wanted to help a small village in Peru, and she thought of a way to help the people. She did not have resources herself, so in two or three summers she went down there, and she gathered stories told by the children of this village, and then took that recording and tried and wrote a text around it, and she had been trying to publish that book, so that the money out of this project goes to the village and the usage of those people in that village. That is one example of this kind of project which can be done at smaller scale, and these are the kind of projects that we really support, and the kind of projects that we promote, and the kind of projects that we desire our members to be involved in. We are not going to compete with the existing organizations about the larger projects, because that is not our arena, and we'll never be able successful really to compete with these huge organizations with all the resources they have, at least in the near and the near and the near future. Maybe after a couple of years, and if our movement became very resourceful, then probably we'll be thinking of doing other things. But I believe that the best strategy is really to be restricted into smaller projects that does touch directly the life of the people on the micro scale. Because the problem, and it is true that with the corruption that do exist in many of the poor countries, a lot of these huge resources that goes through the UN and FN and the larger institutions, they end up in the hands of the politicians who are corrupted, and they just disappear into the sun. I was talking with one of the consultants of the World Bank, and he told me that much of the money that are giving to third world countries or poorer countries are really not effective at all in alleviating poverty, because they go into the wrong hands, and then they end up lost in. So we believe in in smaller projects that impact people at very small level, at the village level, or like the district level or neighborhood level. And as I said, we still at the beginning, we really lack resources, to be frank with you. And this is what I say to the members. But any idea that can be applied locally, and there is sense in it, we'll be happy to study and evaluate and see if we can do something about it. And we welcome any contribution and support that we get from the members, because really, um, out of resource aspect, we still really at the very early stage. And the things that we do are paid out of our own pockets. So any project which is desired by any member should really take account for that. There should be understanding of that. At this stage, we don't have really these huge amount of resources that we can locate for our projects, but the hope as the purpose on the long run to be able to get there, and then we will be able to do more projects, we'll be able to do larger projects, and we'll be able to impact people around us. But that doesn't mean at all that you're not encouraged to write to me. I mean, if you have an idea about a good project that can probably help people around you, it's not a bad idea to send material to me, or to send some information about your thinking, because maybe there is a way to kind of getting some resources to help. So this should not discourage you from communicating your ideas with us. And even if we cannot do anything now, at least we have the project, and we have some description of what you're thinking, and maybe at certain occasion we can do something about it. Or maybe we can, maybe I can, through my own personal contacts, propose this project to other organizations that are interested in the good, doing good in other countries, and then maybe they can take charge of the whole thing. I mean, it's not important that we do everything within our own network, the PSMA network. I mean, if we could, if your project, and I'm talking about the PSMA members, if your project is good enough, maybe we can find some organization which is able to help you. And my message is to the PSMA network, to the members of the network. I think this will finish this episode. It is a short episode, and I just wanted to explain this first element of our methodology. With that, I thank you for listening. This is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan, person behind the PSMA network, and the Ilahinic movement.